They aren't just casual places to meet and keep in touch with people. For many, they're a necessity. Users do everything from advertising television shows, products, and promoting events to just keeping in touch with old friends. Whatever you use your page for, it's addictive and effective. This week on The Scenario, we're talking about social networking sites.
One of the newer forms of marketing, inexpensive alternative, and one that, markets to, the youth. The youth love it. They love it. If you want to, get the word out, that's, one of the best ways to do it without, employing marketing firms and things like that. The days of the past, you had to come off a pretty decent grip in order to market. But, this being one of the avenues, social networking is huge. And you go global, in a moment's notice with whatever it is you're trying to sell or whatever.
Facebook is like a whole nother radio station, if you will. It's a whole nother medium that can help get one's career going.
Now, because of the internet, you're able to make Facebook your personal journal to where you just get a chance to write it out and let it go.
That's what friends are for. Talk, if you gotta let it out. You got a mama or a brother or a cousin or some friends. Those are people that like you, people that care about you, people who will respond and show you when you going off center. That's what friends are for.
At first when you get in, it's kind of cool hooking back up with some people that you haven't seen in a while, but when you see people acting the same way they did 20 years in high school, then, you got to wonder, where's your head?
I like looking at people, their family, and how they, life has changed. Oh, they have a baby, or they got married.
I love that. My name is Kwani, and I think way too much, and that's the scenario.
This is Cadillac Jones, and that's the scenario. Google me, baby.
Hi, this is Erica Lovely Bands Alexander.
Naya Stevens from Atlanta, Georgia.
Oceanside, California.
Georgetown, South Carolina.
Nashville, Tennessee. That's the scenario.
Wow! This is Arnold the Terminator. Schwarzenegger. That's the scenario.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening once again to the Scenario Podcast. And as you heard from my Man on the Street segment, today's topic is social networking. Facebook, Twitter, and maybe even a little MySpace, if you remember what MySpace is.
Very little MySpace.
But we're going to talk a little bit about social networking today and what it means to us specifically, because as you look around there, everybody's using it, but everybody uses it with a different intent. So we're going to kind of get into that, because I think the more you know about a person and the way that they use social networking, the more you kind of get an idea about what type of person they are. And we're going to talk about some of those types of people today. So with that being said, let me introduce our round table, that our people, our cast, our crew, whatever it is you'd like to call them, beginning with my co-host, Toya Haynes. How you doing today, Toya?
I'm fine. I'm already cracking up over this. I'm already cracking up because I like the part when you said, what kind of person they are by how often they use it, and I'm pretty talkative, so.
All right. Also joining us today, other usual suspect, John Ford. John Ford, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I mean, this is a subject that I know very little about, but, anyway, I think I got some.
I know you got some. We got a whole segment dedicated to the fact that you know very little about it. We're going to try to address that in a little bit. And also from the news desk, Eris Walker. How are you doing, Eris?
I am well, thank you. Glad to be here.
All right, and we are glad to have you. And we're going to go make the rounds today and just see what everybody has to say about the topic at hand and see what all we can touch on. Let's take it from the top. How many of you, and I would say by show of hands, but the people can't see your hands, how many of you have some access to social networking, whether it be Facebook, Twitter? I'm not going to leave MySpace out because I know we still got the page, we just don't use it. What do you got?
Yeah, You know, I just thought about that. I actually do have one social network, and
Black Planet.
Lord no.
All right, just trying to help you remember.
No, LinkedIn. So I do use LinkedIn. I will, you know, admit to that one.
And LinkedIn, which is usually more business oriented.
Exactly.
That's
you know,
it's
it's less Snoopy and you know, getting into someone's business. It's all about just networking, and you know, and even that has its own, like, I'm getting requested from people who I have no clue in how they know me or anything like that. And I mean, that's always just playing that a little safe and trying to figure out, you know, who am I accepting, and you know, but you know, there's a flip side of that for me on LinkedIn, because you know, when I'm trying to get connected to someone, whether it be from a position that I'm trying to, you know, like when I was job searching or whatever, you know, I would hit somebody up on LinkedIn just to kind of network with them. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, you know. I would do that, but then people send me messages all the time, and I'm like, no, thank you.
You're about your business. LinkedIn is about business.
And you're about business.
You are solely about your business.
What are you using, Toya?
Oh, I'm almost ashamed.
Crackhead.
Yeah, it's bad. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Google Plus. I don't think you can really consider Spotify social networking, even though you can interact with your Facebook friends on it. And I'm trying to think. I feel like there's something else, because I counted them one day and I was like, this is a problem. But it's not. I mean, I'm a social person. But I think those alone.
Okay. One question. What's Spotify? I don't know anything about Spotify.
Spotify is it's new to the United States. It's a music subscription service. Mm-hmm. It's free now, and it's like Rhapsody or people compare it to Pandora, but you can actually make your own playlist, and then you can share your playlist with your friends. You can send them songs. If you interact through Facebook in the social aspect of it, so you can see your playlist that your friends make. They can see what you make. You can swap songs. You can subscribe to someone's playlist. And I am a music junkie and probably a social networking junkie. So I make playlists that I know my friends like or that I like. So I have one that is a catalog of only Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis songs, which is like 100 some odd songs. I have a New Jack Swing playlist. I have If My Life Was a John Hughes Movie, and these are the songs that would be in it. Like, I have the most random playlists, and I share them with my friends, and they subscribe to them through
For
Facebook.
the listeners, let me reiterate. Once you find out about a person's social networking sites, you can find out a lot about what type of person it is you're dealing with. The John Hughes thing says a whole lot.
Yeah, it does.
Aris, AJ. Which one you want me to call you, Aris?
I've dropped AJ, and I am now going by Aris.
All right, Aris. What about you? What do you got?
I have Facebook. I have MySpace. I have Twitter. And I don't know if Black People Meet counts, because that's more of a...
Oh, it totally does.
It was a dating thing. I've actually kind of gotten off there because I found the men were really aggressive towards me, and I actually gotten cursed out a few times on there for not wanting to hook up with people that addressed me on there. So that, and a couple of friends that I met on there, males, told me that I really had to be careful on there. Mm-hmm. And some people were career Black people meet, like professionals at picking up women, and it was just, I was told to be careful. So, but the thing I use the most is Facebook.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm on Facebook myself. That's it. That's about as far as it goes for me. I have a MySpace page, of course, but everybody did. I just don't use it for obvious reasons. Okay, so we all have a little bit of something. I'm surprised that John had some, because I thought John was completely not on the grid as far as all of that was concerned.
And, you know, as far as that's concerned, I mean, let me be totally honest here. Now, I did have a MySpace account back in the day. So, you know, and here's the thing, and maybe this is where it all went wrong for me, because... So I got into MySpace at the height of its heyday, when, you know, everybody in the commercials were referring to MySpace on their commercial ads. Check us out on MySpace. And at the time I had a band, and it made a lot of sense to promote the band, to market the band, you know, and I was kind of pushing the band, the main, you know, front man, or however you want to look at it, the main person pushing it. And so it had a lot of sense to do with that, you know. So once, you know, the band kind of broke up, and it was right around the time that MySpace was going through the troubles that it was, and so I was just left with this MySpace account with crazy friends on here and all these crazy relationships, people adding me. Well, not, I mean, I guess I would have to add them, but it's just like so much stuff going on, and mind you, I just got married like a year or two before, and I just didn't find it the most savouriest of places to be. So I and to tell you what, I kept the account. You know how you just keep those old little things that you just like, you know, I might need this one day, and I kept it, and I didn't use it for, you know, a long time, maybe 3 or 4 years or whatever. But, you know, just log in every now and then when I wanted to check in on somebody. You know, somebody's like, oh, you got to see this person there on MySpace or whatever like that. And in order to like look at their profile or whatever, I kept it active just for that purpose alone. But even then, it was maybe like once or twice a year. And as I said, I joined LinkedIn because I was job hunting about a year or so ago. And at the time, I said, you know what, it's probably dangerous me having this MySpace account active. I was like, I don't know who's going to, you know, I'm putting out resumes and stuff like that. And I know, you know, employers are just, you know, Googling people.
Right,
and
you definitely
whatever.
have to be careful with that.
So it's not like there was any action going on there, but I just didn't feel, I mean, you know, it's not the image that I was trying to portray of myself as a professional. So I went ahead and deleted the account last year. Like I said, not like a whole lot was going on, and mainly because there's just too much going on.
Yeah.
So
I as far as you said about companies looking for people on Facebook, I recently signed up to do some volunteering with a youth organization. And one of the questions that they asked me on the application was, do I have a Facebook or MySpace or any kind of social networking account? And I wanted to say no, because I don't want them to say, well, it's mandatory that we check your account, because I feel like that's none of their business. I still don't know what the point is, because I'm still in the process of joining that organization, but I don't know why they would ask me that. But I'm afraid if I would have said no on the application, then that's lying.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like they have a right to ask me if I had one, because it's really none of their business.
No, that's a really good point. When I started the job that I'm at now, I was trying to get one of my friends on. And so I told the guy who was hiring, I was like, hey, and so I was recommending like 2 and 3 people at a time. And I sat there, he would look at their resume for like, I'd say 60 seconds max. And then he would immediately go to Facebook and try to find them.
Wow.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Yeah. Is it okay, or is it not okay? Because my thing is, I would think to some degree it is. Isn't that what we all want, is to be able to check our references in every walk of our life? Everything I can think of. If there was somewhere I could go and just see just how much of a fool you really are without having to ask you about it, it's wonderful.
Oh, that's beautiful.
In that aspect.
I just don't know if that's a fair indication.
All of a sudden, I am tempted to get on Facebook and check out Toya.
No, I just don't know how much of a fair indication that is of how well someone can do their job. I think you may have, a work persona. You may have your social persona. And I think Facebook is for social, for just being social. I think it's just, I don't know. I think they should stay. I think they should really be
compartmentalized.
Yeah,
and we can't check theirs, so I mean, it should be a two-way street. We should be able to open up their closet and take a look around.
You should ask that. You should ask that.
Exactly.
I think that you should ask that.
That's interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, but I do know this. That's something for us to delve into as we go back, because one of the things that we're really looking at here is being accepted. What does it mean to be accepted or to accept others? And that's really what it all comes down to in the end of the day with Facebook. So when we come back, we're going to talk about being accepted. But first, we're going to listen to the late, the great Aaliyah, 4-Page Letter, which is in itself its own form of social networking from back in the day, that is.
You're listening to the Scenario Podcast. If you like us on Facebook or on Podomatic.com.
Mama always told to be careful.